You know that quiet moment when you're sitting with people, the conversation is flowing, and everyone is laughing. Everything seems normal, but inside, you feel a bit disconnected. It's like you are there, but not really part of it. You start thinking about what to say. Then you overthink it. Before you know it, that small hesitation turns into silence. Not because you don't have thoughts, but because you're uncertain if they're worth sharing. Slowly, a belief forms in your mind. Maybe I'm just not that interesting. But that belief isn't true. It feels true because you've been holding yourself back for so long. The truth is no one is naturally boring. What happens is simpler. People gradually stop showing who they really are. At some point, you became careful about what you say and how you say it, worrying about how others might react. You learned to filter your thoughts before they could ever exist outside your head. That filtering might feel safe. It protects you from awkward moments and judgment, from saying something wrong, but also takes away something crucial, your real voice. What makes someone interesting isn't how impressive their life is. It's how honestly they express it. You probably noticed this yourself. Someone with a simple life can completely hold your attention, while someone with grand experiences may feel empty to listen to. The difference isn't in what they've lived, but in how they share it. Real connection comes from emotion, from honesty, and from the little details that most people hide. But most conversations never reach that depth. People discuss what happened, but not what it felt like. They describe events, but leave out their meaning. That's where things start to feel flat. It's not that you don't have depth. You're just not used to expressing it. There's a pattern that many people don't see. You don't actually lack interesting thoughts. You just don't trust them enough to share. Instead of saying what you really think, you look for something that sounds right. In doing that, you disconnect from yourself. Real conversations don't come from perfect lines. They come from honest ones, sometimes a little messy or not fully formed, but real. That's what people connect with. But being real means being vulnerable, and that's where it gets uncomfortable. Opening up even slightly feels risky. It feels like giving someone a chance to judge or misunderstand you. So you stay controlled. You keep things safe. You choose words that won't expose too much. Over time, that becomes your default way of communicating. You become someone who listens more than speaks. You feel deeply but rarely show it. You are present but slightly hidden. And it starts to feel like this is just who you are. But that's not who you are. It's just a version of you that learned to stay safe. There's another layer to this. Even when you try to express yourself, sometimes you don't know how. You feel something but can't quite explain it. That's not a lack of personality. It's a lack of familiarity with your own inner world. You experience emotions, but don't always pause to understand them. You go through moments, but don't reflect deeply. So when it's time to put them into words, everything feels vague. Being interesting isn't about talking more. It's about understanding your experiences more clearly and sharing that understanding simply and honestly. It's the difference between saying, "It was a bad day," and saying, "I don't know why, but today felt heavy, like something was off, even though nothing actually happened." That small shift changes everything. Because now, the other person doesn't just hear you. They feel what you're saying. And that's what makes someone engaging. Not facts, not achievements, just emotions that have been noticed and expressed. But there's still that inner voice holding you back. The one that tells you not to say too much, not to sound strange, not to stand out in the wrong way. That voice didn't appear out of nowhere. It built over time through moments when you felt judged or misunderstood. So now, even when you have something real to say, you hesitate. You choose silence over risk. The more you do that, the more distant you feel from your own expression. Interesting people aren't the ones trying to impress everyone. They're the ones comfortable being seen as they are, not perfectly, not confidently all the time, but honestly. And that honesty creates connections. Not with everyone, but with the right people. Connection isn't about being liked by everyone. It's about being real enough that someone feels understood when they listen to you. That only happens when you stop performing and start expressing. That shift is small but powerful. It starts with paying attention to what you actually feel instead of what you think you should say. It means letting your thoughts come out naturally without over-editing them. At first, it might feel awkward. You might pause more, stumble a little, or feel unsure. But that's part of it. Real expression isn't perfect. It has pauses, imperfections, and moments of uncertainty. But it feels alive, and that's what people respond to. So if you've ever felt like you're not interesting enough, maybe the problem isn't that you're lacking something. Maybe you've just been hiding too much of what's already there. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to gather better stories or learn complicated ways to speak. You just need to get closer to your thoughts and feelings and start sharing them a little more honestly. Everything you think is ordinary about you becomes meaningful the moment you express it with honesty. When you do that, something changes. People don't just listen to you anymore. They feel connected to you. That kind of connection is something no one forgets. So the next time you find yourself holding back in a conversation, don't focus on saying the perfect thing. Just focus on saying something real. Even if it's simple, even if it's not perfectly structured. The most interesting version of you isn't something you need to create. It's something you've been holding back. And once you start to let go, even a little, you'll see the difference. Not just in how people respond, but in how you feel about yourself. Being heard starts with allowing yourself to speak honestly. And maybe that's all it takes. So think about it. When was the last time you truly said what you felt without filtering it first? That's where everything begins.